All right, so today we are going to look at the period and p-value of a trig graph. Okay, so the period of a graph is how long it takes to complete one cycle. So if we look at this picture, so remember one cycle is from, so this is a sine graph, so it's from going O, high O, low O. So this is one cycle, and it takes 2 pi. So the period of this graph is 2 pi. So now if we look at this one, okay, so it's going O, high O, low O, and then O, high O, low O again. So there are 2 cycles here. One cycle ends there, which is at pi. So this period is at pi. So now we have to talk about the b value. So the b value is how many cycles happen in 2 pi. So in 2 pi, how many cycles are happening? So if we go up here, well, here's 2 pi. How many cycles happened? Well, just one. So this b value equals 1. This one, how many cycles happened within 2 pi? Well, remember it went O, high O, low O, so there's 1, and then O, high O, low O, there's 2. So this b value is 2. Okay, so when you're talking about the period, this has to do with your graph. So the period has to do with your graph. And the b value, this has to do with your equation that you write. So if I go down here, so here's an example. So let's refresh our memory a little bit. This 3, this is your amplitude. This is your y displacement, so this is how far your graph goes up or down. This right here, this number, this is your b value. So some people talk about how fast or slow your graph is moving. So this one is moving much faster than this one is. Some people talk about how compressed it is. So this one down here looks like it was squeezed together. So that would be a compression. I don't care how you think of it right now, to be honest. The biggest thing that you need to know is your b value. I'm going to write this down. So your b value goes with your equation. And the period goes with your graph. So this is kind of important. And your period and the b value, they are not the same thing. That's also another common mistake. So let's just go ahead and look at an example. So this first one here, if I want to graph sine of 2x, okay, so the first thing we want to write down is our b value. The b value, remember b value is in your equation, so our b value is 2. The b value always comes right before the x, so it's in between your sine or cosine and the x. So this is your b value, which is 2. So now the only thing that your period really changes, remember how we have to make these 4 marks? The only thing it changes is what I put on these marks. So if this 2 wasn't here, it'd just be sine of x. I would put 2 pi, and I would put pi here, just like we did last week. But now this b value, that changes it. So there's a little formula that we're going to learn. It is there's actually 2 of them. So there's your period equals 2 pi divided by b. So there's 1. And your other one is b equals 2 pi over your period. Okay, so remember, the period, that is the number, that is how long it takes to go for one cycle. So when you have these 4 marks, this is going to be your one cycle. So I'm just going to put a little arrow here. So this is where the period is going to go on the 4th mark. So we need to figure out what the period is. So we know our B value is 2. So which one of these two things do you think we're going to use right now? Well, we're trying to find the period, so we wouldn't want that to be in a denominator because that'd be terribly hard to solve for. So we're just going to get rid of this for now. So the period is 2 pi divided by your B value. So period equals 2 pi divided by B, which in this case is 2. So these 2's actually cross out, and you're left with the period equals pi. So now instead of putting 2 pi here, we're just going to put pi. Okay, well, if pi goes here, this little mark is going to be half of that. What's half of pi? You can either write half pi or you can write pi over 2. And I do not care about the first dash or the second or the third dash. As long as you have this last one and the second one, you're good. Okay, so now we have a sine graph. The amplitude is just 1. So that means this is 1. This is -1. And then there's no plus or minus over here. So you do not have to move your graph up or down. So sine graph, we start O, high, O, low, O. Then you connect them. So the only difference is that this says pi and not 2 pi. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, so this time we have cosine. The amplitude is 1. There's no y displacement, so this is going to be at 1. This will be at -1. Whoops. Pretend that's not there. Put your 4 dashes. And then we know that our b value equals 1/4. To find our period, we are going to do 2 pi over b. So the period is 2 pi over 1/4. So I know that looks terrible, but it's the same as instead of dividing by 1/4, we can multiply by the reciprocal. So it's the same as saying 2 pi times 4/1. And then 2 pi times 4 is 8 pi over 1, which is 8 pi. So remember, this number goes right here on the 4th thing. So this is going to be 8 pi. And then half of that is 4 pi. So when we graph it, cosine starts high, and then it goes to O, and then it goes to low, and then it goes to O, and then back to high. So high, O, low, O, high. So the only thing that's different is instead of this being 2 pi, it's 8 pi. All right, we have one more example, and this is actually the last one in your homework. You have 4 problems for homework, and this is the 4th one. So let's see. Okay, so this one has all sorts of stuff in it. So we have the amplitude, which is 2. We have a y displacement of -1. So remember, y displacement, this is like your fake x-axis. So here's -1, so we'll draw that in with a dashed line. So remember, it's your fake x-axis, so it'll be, your graph will be an even amount on this side and an even amount on this side. And then we have an amplitude of 2, so that means from here, we're going to go down 2, and we're going to go up 2. Then I like to put these lines in so I know where the bottom of my graph is. And then up to from here is that 1. And that's where the top of my graph is going to be. Okay, so then we need to figure out what the period is. So we know our B value is 1/2. We know that period, I'm just going to write P, equals 2 pi divided by B, which is 1/2. And then don't forget, this is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So we have 2 pi times 2 over 1, which is 4 pi. So this is 4 pi, and this is 2 pi. And then we just need to connect the, no, we didn't make our dots yet, but so it's sine, so that starts at O, and then we go pi, and then we go back to O, so O, high, O, and then low, and then O. And then connect the points. And that one is done. So the only thing that's different, this is 4 pi instead of 2 pi. So now remember, this B value, it's how many cycles happen within 2 pi. So here's 2 pi. How much of a cycle happened? Well, only half. And that is all for today.